Jim, the wacky sitcom neighbor next door, and I would just barge into people's radio shows and start talking.
It, number one, gave me an opportunity to reunite with Jim Maneri, who I knew from when he was in college and I worked at another radio station. And as a matter of fact, I hadn't had that type of conversation about music probably in 10, 15 years. That's one of the reasons why I do this.
So fun. I mean, I'm a radio girl anyways, but I also am the receptionist, so I get to greet them, bring them into the station, welcome them, and Chris Robinson Brotherhood came through, and Chris Robinson, I just love the Black Crowes, so meeting him, I was kind of geeking out a little bit.
I'm in my 23rd year, and probably the last handful have been the most rewarding and fulfilling. That combination that I love of music and story, the sort of story behind the music, that's a really good combination. When a listener says that they value that and they got something from that, they now are a fan of that artist, that is truly inspiring. I've had a long relationship with WCBE. Years ago, I started a little show called Cinema Classics with a buddy of mine, John DeSando, and we've been talking about movies on there for years. And then the opportunity came up. There was a job opening, and I thought, wow, I love this place. I love the people that work there. I love the vibe there.
I still feel that it is a group of people who are making this all happen. And we're all counting on each other and building on what each other does. And that's an unusual and awesome experience.
My name is Lolita Vine, and I am a special ed instructional assistant for Clemson Schools. I have been employed with the district for 11 plus years now. to work for Columbus City School because I like helping children and families. Coming from a background of being a home child care provider for 20 years, it just fit.
They see themselves when they look at me. Most of our students, are African American, and there's not a lot of males in education. Me being in that role, pre-K teacher, being one of the first teachers that they see, I know I affect change. They see it, they see a positive role model, they see a positive male, positive figure in their life.
This past graduation class was my first class of 6th graders. So they graduated last year, and one of the area high schools has a really cool tradition where they ask their former teachers to come back and give their diploma, and I was the only middle school teacher there for this particular student, and so I got to hand her a diploma, and that was probably the most memorable experience.
The district has actually provided me a lot of tools and resources. I have the latest technology currently in my classroom with the Clever Touch board. I also have the ability to get my master's degree through Columbus City Schools and take additional classes for my coursework for absolutely free and incorporate it into my teacher schedule.
I chose to work in the district because I grew up in the inner city school, and I met a school nurse that was a nurse of color, and I wanted to be in a school district that had more students that were minority, so they could see that they could succeed in whatever field they chose to.
They have continuous trainings and workshops that we can do at our pace or online through public school works. They also have no-cost out-of-pocket college tuition that we can go to school to obtain our degree.
Everybody is cheering for everybody. Everybody is rooting for everybody. Everybody has one goal, and that's to educate our students. Everything focuses around our students, and that's the biggest thing. That's why I'm in Columbus. That's why I wouldn't leave Columbus. There's a lot of room for growth. You're going to continue to learn. You're going to meet so many people. You're going to connect with people. If you desire to be an administrator, you can go that route. If you desire to be in a TOSA position, a teacher on special assignment, you can go that route. You're going to grow.
You get a lot of different diverse pockets in Columbus, and I think it says a lot with the district as well. Whatever community you find yourself teaching in, you are impacting a certain community. I find myself in the east side impacting a certain, and I know friends in the north and the west side that are doing different work with different populations of students that it's really rewarding.
If you love working with students and families from all walks of life, then come join our team. The opportunity to be a part of a great team is here. I cannot say enough about friendships that I have made with so many amazing people. My family has grown, and I love it. I can't wait to meet you, and welcome to our team.
Good evening, everyone in the audience. We are actually just coming out of a special meeting, so I am going to need a motion to adjourn our special meeting. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second? And we are adjourned. And we are going to go ahead and begin our regular meeting, and we'd like to start these now with our video from our interim superintendent.
Hello to our entire Columbus City Schools community. My name is Anthony Moore, and I am a student at South High School. Before we begin tonight's Board of Education business meeting, I invite you to check out these highlights and updates from across the district.
We are almost there. As we head into these final days of school, there is a lot of excitement in the air. Staff and students have worked so hard to get to this point, and I know we can't wait to celebrate all of our students' milestones. And there is so much to celebrate, whether that is students heading into kindergarten, fifth graders taking a big step into middle school, eighth graders as they take a leap into high school, and seniors as they head into the next phase of their lives. Your hard work and dedication have brought you this far, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish next. Countdown to Kindergarten is coming up this Saturday, May 20th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Fort Hays High School campus. Our early childhood team and partners will be there to help families get ready for this pivotal moment of transitioning to kindergarten. Additionally, it's almost time for Senior Fest, where we mark the end of the high school journey for the CCS graduating class of 2023. We will honor students' achievements, growth, and academic success before they make that walk across the stage. Senior Fest will take place Thursday, May 25th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Columbus Afrocentric Early College Fieldhouse. Yesterday, we recognized Teachers Dream Grants Award winners in a special celebration. Teachers Dream Grants are an opportunity for CCS teachers to provide meaningful, creative, innovative experiences for their students. This year, a little more than $61,000 in grants were awarded to teachers who either collaborated with other teachers and/or were awarded as individuals. Congratulations to all of our amazing teachers. Last weekend was a busy one in the district with the Middle School Scholars Banquet and the final Pathway Express and EduHealth event. The Middle School Scholars Banquet celebrated a total of 612 eighth graders who achieved a 3.5 GPA or higher. This year's theme was about celebrating strengths and sharing talents. The Middle School Scholars, formerly known as the Middle School Scholars Tea, started in 1982 through the vision of Emma Lilly Henderson, a former CCS principal. This is the 41st year of the program. Additionally, students and families enjoyed the flowers, art, nature-based exhibits, and seasonal events during the Pathway Express event at the Franklin Park Conservatory. District staff and community partners provided many services,
including academic resources, health screenings, immunizations, and other resources during the final EduHealth Caravan Series event. Once again, we thank our partners at Nationwide Children's Hospital, Primary One Health, and Spectrum News for making this event possible. Last week was full of celebrations honoring our many talented CCS students as well. Student artists were honored recently during the 3rd Congressional District Art Competition reception at the Columbus Museum of Art. The event was hosted by Congresswoman Joyce Beatty and recognized the artistic talents of many of our students. Congratulations to these students for their outstanding artwork. Also, last week we celebrated and uplifted our young girls during the 2nd annual Region 2 Say My Name Summit at the Franklin Park Conservatory. Last year marked the first Say My Name event, which was presented by CCS and the Commission on Black Girls. There were roughly 300 students from schools in Region 2 who met throughout the school year to focus on empowerment, self-confidence, and leadership skills. The summit recognized and celebrated students' progress throughout the year. Additionally, we celebrated our soon-to-be CCS graduates and our Seniors to Sophomores event. This unique program gives high schoolers the opportunity to get a head start on college coursework and earn enough credits to enter college as a sophomore. We recognized 36 of our seniors who not only completed their graduation requirements, but all the while taking nearly full college course loads. These high schoolers truly represented all attributes of the district's portrait of a graduate, particularly in their adaptability, communication, creativity, and critical thinking skills. We congratulate these scholars for their hard work. I'm always excited to see our students gain recognition for their hard work. Recently, 6 of our CCS high school seniors were selected as Helen Jenkins Davis Scholarship recipients. Students were recognized earlier this month by the Lunch Bunch, which sponsored the scholarship. Each student received a $3,000 scholarship, award, book bag, and certificate. Congratulations to the following scholarship winners: Brian Boancy of Northland High School, Jalen Glenn of Eastmore Academy, Nashida Corley of Centennial High School, Julianne Lucambo of Northland High School, Alex Stokes of Whetstone High School, and Bassett Tahiru of Columbus Alternative High School. I also want to give a shout out to our student athletes who competed in this year's Special Olympics Andrews Family Sports Classic. This event was the largest regional qualifier for Special Olympics in the state, and CCS was proud to host this event. More than 800 athletes from 24 programs across Central Ohio competed in track and field, tennis, bocce, powerlifting, and volleyball. Additionally, we thank the more than 300 volunteers, many of them CCS staff, who took time out of their weekend to make this event happen. With the end of the year upon us, there is still time to sign up for this year's Summer Experience program. Students will be able to enjoy the unique hands-on learning experiences the program is known for, along with some exciting new opportunities as well. So far, we have nearly 4,000 students registered for Summer Experience. The program is free and open to all pre-K through 12th grade CCS students. Pre-K through 8 registration will close on May 19th, and high school registration closes on June 6th. There's still time for families to register in the parent portal, but don't wait, spaces are filling up fast. These have been highlights from around the district for the May 16th Columbus Board of Education meeting. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I am calling our May 16th regular business meeting to order. Please call the roll.
President Nader?
Present.
Ms. Beckerly?
Present.
Mr. Brown?
I'm here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Dr. Pierce?
Present.
Ms. Reyes?
Here.
Vice President Vera?
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. And I believe we have some students who will be leading us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board members, as we begin to review our agenda for adoption, I would like to make an amendment and add an item 4.3 to board matters, which is a discussion on the appointment of the superintendent for the Columbus City School District. If there are no objections to that, we'll consider the agenda amended as such. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Are there any changes or additions? Seeing none, and without objection, the agenda has been adopted. We will now move into public comment. Our first public speaker is President Nana Watson from the NAACP, here to talk about Board Policy 0156, Board Action Requested. Rewrite the policy 0156 because it is ambiguous. Good evening, President Watson.
Good evening, President Adair and members of the board and Interim Superintendent Chapman. Let me just say, we acknowledge the receipt of your response to the NAACP's record request that was denied based on Board of Education Policy 0156. Much to our chagrin and admitted disappointment, Policy 0156 has no reference to attorney-client privilege on which the denial was made. The policy really recites the Columbus Schools' right to the appointment of legal advisors throughout a school year. The stretching of its application to the inclusion of attorney-client privilege is interpretation at best. Rather than provide responses to the question, you again elected to conduct business by hiding behind client privilege. Citing a policy that has nothing to do with our questions certainly can be classified as misinterpretation of the right to provide reasonable requests and information timely and accurately to concerned community parties. Again, hiding behind client privilege. Not only is this a misrepresentation, it continues to speak to your lack of credibility to be responsive to the public on legitimate issues pertaining to the spending of taxpayer money. It solidifies the lack of transparency that has been continually referenced. Clearly, your integrity is at stake. Let me close by saying this. The NAACP cannot and will not endorse a process or board of election that condones the same. I am referencing your client privilege. Lastly, again, you have failed us. You have failed us, you have failed the children, and you have failed the parents and the entire community. I am so appalled at this behavior. I want to know also, I guess I'll do another public records request so it can be denied. How many people did you engage in the community conversation to meet the candidates? We'd like to know who they were and how many were included. And is there a way, and I understand there's conversation among all of you all, that there might be a levy. I just say,
Thank you for your comments, President Watson. Our next speaker is Stephanie Dupree. Topic is the superintendent search. Board action requested. Listen and answer my questions regarding the superintendent search.
Hi, good evening, board. My name is Stephanie Dupree. I'm a reporter with ABC6 News. Why were we not allowed to know the identities of all the 31 applicants? What was wrong with the 25 which did not make the list of so-called semifinalists? Was your intention all along to hire Dr. Chapman for the position? If so, why go through this process spending all of this money? Why were we not allowed an interview with any board members, specifically the board president? This board called the NAACP a great community partner, but refuses to answer any of its concerns about this process. Why? What has Dr. Dixon been doing the past 6 months to justify her contract? She's still technically the superintendent, so why hasn't she been at any of these meetings? Is Dr. Dixon still in Columbus? What will you do if the next superintendent decides to leave the position early? And lastly, Dr. Dixon got a glowing review from this board and a new contract last year. Why was there no fight to keep her as the superintendent?
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Corey Sadler, Sr. Topic, paying to get fingerprinted to volunteers in the schools. Board action, list all the crimes that will prevent a person from passing the BCFBI background check and prevent them from volunteering in the schools. Good evening, Mr. Sadler.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been brought to my attention that me volunteering at Afrocentric has been an issue, and I was requested to get a background check. I did 15 years in prison, been out 10 years, and a part of my giving back to society, paying my debt to society, is not only about me doing my time, 13 years and 10 months, but getting out for 10 years and giving back to the community that I came from. With me being involved in my daughter's schooling since preschool, she's in the 3rd grade, the teachers of the elementary have no issues with me. I go and I read books, I go and I give cupcakes to the good kids and reward them and give them incentives. I plan on doing a pizza party to, give them a reason for celebrating the end of the school year, a good school year, testing and all that, and I was gonna wear the Spider-Man outfit. I'm for the kids. It takes a village, and I'm a part of that village. But something that I did 24 years ago, I'm 48 years old, but something I did when I was 24 should not be held against me. And I should not be denied the opportunity to give back to my society, which is the problem around our community. We don't have enough brothers stepping up. And me being where they came from, these young boys coming from a feminine household in home, and then coming to a school with feminine, and there's no meal. There's over 80 students, not even students, but there's over 80 teachers and staffs in there, and like 90% of them was females. So these little boys need something that I offer. So my thing is, I know that there's a criteria for your stipulation as far as hiring, and I look down the list, and I fit a couple of them. It goes as much as high as attempted murder or aggravated murder, all the way down to, let's say, trading blood, contaminated blood. What does that have to do with all the tea in China? Something that a person that did back then does not reflect who their character is as of today. You can't look at my record and tell that, I am this type of person who's willing to come and fight for the right to continue to do what I've been doing. That's giving back, paying my debt to society. And also with the $45, if everybody had access to this, and they would be able to see what it is, the criteria, they wouldn't have to waste their time going downtown, getting fingerprint, and paying $45 to volunteer. After this school have sent a SOS, and I'm a black man trying to step up and help my community. It takes a village. But me being denied for personal reasons, I've talked to Dr. Luther Johnson about the situation just about 3 hours ago. He's going to do his investigation because I want to know why am I being... They're saying I can deal with my daughter at school, but any other kids, I can't. And then they say I can't chaperone and volunteer is 2 different things. Which worse? When I chaperone, I'm with 4 or 8 little girls by ourselves at COSI or at the zoo. But when I'm volunteering, I'm in the midst of the school reading and being around teachers. So what is the difference? I just don't think that that's fair for me as someone trying to get forward.
Thank you, Mr. Sadler, for bringing those concerns, and thank you for being a part of your school community. It sounds like you're in communication with our administration, but we'll ensure that other members of our administration speak with you about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Rhonda Dragon. Topic is summer school. Board action is have traditional summer school with academics. And please tell me how to say your last name when you come up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rhonda Drawn. Thank you for the opportunity to address my concerns this evening. I did ask to speak about the summer experience. My one grandson is going to 6th grade, one going to 7th grade. As I started to research, it looked more like a summer camp. I wasn't able to pinpoint schools that were like saying reading or writing. Like there wasn't anything that showed academics. It looked more like camp. And so when I initially called, and a gentleman called me back and he told me that there would be academics in every school, so then I felt like you guys failed in your marketing. Like I could not have been the only parent that felt like there was zero academics and never signed their kid up when they knew that all the kids are behind. COVID, we don't have to go over the damage, the loss of life, careers, and everything that COVID caused the children. They were all behind. You guys were moving them forward. And we had to rely on the faith and the hope that on the other side, you know, we would kind of catch up. That's what we were all led to believe in, and that really that's all that we had. Those whole 2 years, I don't think a kid put an actual pencil onto paper. Like they had every software known to man on the Chromebooks. I've been in childcare for almost 30 years. At one point, I had 3 different schools on 3 different programs and 3 different programs of Chromebooks, and we could not survive that. So we really relied on you to bring it up, you know, on the other side. So then I got a call from a lady today. I really wanted to speak with her, but I really couldn't. But she said summer school basically has a negative tone for the children. Like it did something negatively to them, and it was like a term you probably couldn't really use because you had to make it more appealing. And then I saw on the news today at 5 o'clock before I came, Ginther, they put out $20.1 million to all the camps. $9 million specifically went to over 90 agencies, nonprofits, some of them new, saying, hey, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. And I just want to say that's not your job. Your job is to educate. Your mission says you will highly educate. COVID robbed every last person in this room of something. But your job is to educate. You have to go back to traditional summer school, math, reading, science. You cannot participate in the experience. Now, I get it. You wanted to do something great, but we have not all pulled through. We have not all gotten where we need to be. Kids still can't read, can't write, can't do math. And I think maybe another time you can do an experience, but right now we need to go back to traditional, educational, academic summer school. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our last speaker this evening is Arshan Al-Sabar. You can please tell me how to say your name. I apologize. Topic, school safety and employee relations, board action, consider changes for future possible positive corrections.
Yes, my name is Arshad Al-Sabor. I'm a proud previous employee of Columbus City Schools. I was a teacher. I want to thank all the teachers first before I begin. During employee orientation, when I was hired, I requested from security, and I asked it, what would they do to protect the students and staff? Because last year was the most violent school year on record. Nothing proactively happened. Student safety is the first priority that we should have. I was hurt actually in a fight in the school. Previously, I want to say, was it maybe a couple weeks ago, a child was stabbed in Mifflin High School. As a teacher who worked in Mifflin High School, who witnessed 10 to 20 fights a week, we have to do something to protect the students. Now, you can hire admin, double the security staff. I mean, there was a fight that happened right in front of the office, which I was hurt in. The child, now I have no problem getting hurt because the child who I protected, who was getting jumped by several kids, she thanked me personally the next day and said if I wasn't involved, she could have been seriously injured. As an employee, I did my job to the fullest. I want to protect the students as much as possible because without safety, we cannot teach. Without employee safety, the employees are at risk, as we see. Finally, you know, Columbus City Schools has also been involved in wage discrimination. When I was hired, I was told to fill out this form where I was to put my social security number on this form and send it to the private sector to have reviewed. I have over 20 years of banking experience. I was hired as a financial literacy teacher. I was not paid the proper rate. Also, too, I was told to verify my income by providing my W-2, which the city of Columbus has said that is improper, and they are making that illegal as it states moving forward for any employer in the city of Columbus. That will not be allowed. Why is this allowed in Columbus City Schools where you're cheating the teachers out of income? Why can't teachers be properly protected at work so we can properly teach the children? I'll cede the rest of my time. I want to thank you for allowing me to address you. I want you to have a wonderful day. And please, proactively protect the students and the teachers so we can provide quality education to the children. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for those comments. We will now move into board matters. Up first on 4.1, we have some student presentations. We will first hear from Mifflin High School student ambassadors.
So student-led restorative practices is made up of 4 high school, Beechcroft, Briggs, Mifflin High School, and Walnut Ridge, and we was all trained together by A.J. Crable. And restorative practice is restorative mediation and community circles led by students to communicate with the rest of our peers.
We are Punchers Promoting Peace, P3 for short, and we are working to rebuild our community and our school.
Hello, I'm Ivana Manfo, class of 2025.
Hi, my name is Hosanna, and I'm class of 2025.
Hi, I'm Haley Eckleberry, and I'm class of 2025.
Hello, I'm Erica Gutierrez, and I am class of 2024.
Hi, I'm Xander. I'm class of 2025, and Diabre McCraw could not join us today. He is also class of 2025, a sophomore.
My name is Shiani Stokes, and I'm class of 2025, and Michael Woodyer wasn't able to make it today, and he is a junior.
My name's Amy Bradley. I'm the restorative practices practitioner, and I get to work with these lovely people you see here.
Okay, so here at Mifflin, we have 3 types of circles. We have restorative circles, we have mediation circles, and we have community circles. We live by a thing here called the 80-20 rule, 80% proactive and 20% responsive. Our 80% is our community circle. We just help to build our peers around us. We talk about common vibes going on in the school daily, and we just try to build us and our school spirit closer. And the other 20% in the other 2 circles are responsive to conflicts that we have in our school.
So this is the snapshot of how our team has been doing so far. We've had 17 community circles, 3 mediation circles, and 1 restorative circle. And at the bottom, that is our score rubric so far for what we have. And now we're gonna have 18 community circles actually, because we're doing another one with you guys.
Like she said, we're about to do one, so we would like to go over the circle guidelines. Speak from the heart, listen from the heart, trust what you will say to say, and just say enough. Don't be scared to say your answer out loud, because you can also pass if you would like to. And yeah. First off, thank you all for having us here. We would like to start this community circle by having a check-in with y'all. Describe how you feel in one word. I feel excited.
I feel honored to be here.
I feel ready.
I feel joyful.
I feel enthusiastic.
And I feel engaged.
Got to participate.
I feel welcome.
And I feel hopeful.
I feel excited.
I feel at peace.
I feel enthusiastic.
I feel extremely proud.
I feel proud.
Inspired.
I feel impressed.
Grateful.
Now we're going to open it up to a bit of a deeper question between all of you guys here. We're going to start with me and pass it down that way. I'm asking you guys and everyone in this circle to describe an educator who had a large impact on your life and how they did that. I have a teacher here named Mr. Castano, art teacher. He's also my baseball coach, and he's had a huge impact on my life with my mentality, emotionally, and physically, and everything, and I really appreciate that.
The teacher that impacted my life would be my third grade teacher, and she just changed my view of things in a whole different way.
The teacher that impacted my life was my 5th grade teacher, and she made me discover my love for learning, and she made me see like how much purpose I had and things I wanted to do in the world.
A teacher that had an impact in my life was Miss Moore, my history teacher. She encourages me to do stuff I normally wouldn't do. And Mr. Chandler, I don't have him, but he just encourages me and keeps me on track when I'm off.
The teacher that made impact on me is my counselor right now, Miss Cole, and she has helped me see how I could build my future and how to make a good decision in your life and and also my maturity has grown a lot since I've been talking with her a lot.
An educator that impacted my life a lot is Ms. Ramos. She's like a life coach to me. She's taught me it's okay to feel. She's taught me that no matter what goes on, life just goes.
The educator who has had a large impact on my life is my 3rd grade teacher. Her name is Miss Karen Hicks, and I remember on career day, we were exposed to several careers. She brought in guest speakers, but I told her that I wanted to be a teacher one day when I grew up, and she has mentored me and nurtured me since 3rd grade and continues to be a mentor to me in my life.
Thank you. One of the teachers that had a huge impact on me was my first year law school teacher, Mr. Jaffe. He was brutal. He was challenging. He marked up my papers mercilessly with multicolor markers. He reminded me, and probably a few of you remember back to the paper chase. And he very much fit that model. But as a result, I learned the importance of language, the importance of speaking, the importance of grammar, the importance of writing and reading. Thank you.
So one of the educators that was very impactful in my life was Miss Donna Matthews. She was my English teacher in the 6th grade.
at Woodward Park Middle School, and we affectionately called her Mama Matthews. She was very impactful and influential then, because when I would get bored in class, she would have me tutor my peers that were still working on their assignments. And then when I was accepted to the teaching academy at Northland High School, she allowed me to go back to Woodward Park, and that was my teaching site. And I would learn from her and continue to work with my peers that were then at Woodward Park Middle School. So I'm sure she is watching, or her colleagues are watching. I have probably never told her publicly, so I want to tell her publicly, thank you for seeing what you saw in me, for supporting me and being an educator. And I want to thank you all for this, reminding us the why we do what we do and who inspires us to do that. Thank you.
So I remember Miss Dorothy Duncan from Crestview Middle School. She was actually the home economics teacher, and I feel like she also taught several other things in our building. But I remember Miss Duncan, she gave it to us straight, and she often would pull us aside and remind me that it's okay not to follow the crowd. And she constantly checked on me over the years, and I'm super grateful because there were some instances around that time that I was in the wrong decisions, in the wrong crowds, and Ms. Duncan made it a point to physically pull me out of those settings. And I've had the opportunity to thank her now as an adult. And interestingly enough, when I decided to run for office during the pandemic, and it was a pull up and sign, and so cars were pulling up, signing, and a car pulled up, and the mask was so big, and she rolled down her window, and I was introducing myself to this woman, and she says, "I know exactly who you are." And when I heard her voice, I just instantly began to cry, and she said, "I told you," and she signed my petition, and then she drove off. So thank you for this reflection opportunity.
You guys made me a mess because, thank you for reminding us of this why. It's really impactful to be up here and leading this and reflecting like this. So many teachers here in CC has impacted me. From Mr. Gooseby, who's my 3rd and 4th grade teacher, to Ms. Jefferson, who is my cheer coach and 8th grade math teacher, to Mr. Gross, who taught me about government. But I'm gonna have to give it to Mr. Brigner, who was my 9th grade history government teacher, who was also my softball coach. I wasn't very good at softball, who pushed me to think bigger and to apply to Northwestern University in Illinois, and told me I could do it. And he believed in me that I could do it.
And you did it.
I did it, and he passed. He passed, and so I was able, before he passed, to tell him thank you. But teachers, they really do have the biggest impact, and of course I have to say, my mom, who is a 5th grade teacher right now in our district, she also presently has an impact on me. Sorry, guys. They know I cry a lot.
Wow.
Yes.
Thanks. I also had many teachers, but I would have to say my high school head band director, Dr. David Isidore, who moved from Boston to South Texas, who I didn't like initially, but he grew on me because he was tough. He did not take failure easy. He did not like us. He didn't let us whine. He didn't let us make excuses. He always just said, "When are you going to do it?" Just, if we gave him something, he'd always have encouragement, kept me engaged with school. Similar when I said, I'd like to go to college, but that's probably not going to be for me. And he's like, "Why not? Let's get on it. Let's do, what do you need to do?" So he helped me apply. He kept encouraging me. I ended up getting a full ride to go to Ohio State University, and he bought me my first set of luggage so that I could leave 3,000 miles, becoming the first person to graduate from college of my family. And then up to today, he was at my wedding. So still a person that's been in my life for a very long time.
Thank you so much for giving us this experience. My teacher I reflect on, her name was Marion Watson. She was my sophomore English teacher. She introduced me to all kinds of literature. She introduced me to Pan-Africanist thought. She introduced me to Brother Malcolm X. She was the first person I ever saw Eyes on the Prize with that introduced that to a class and really educated me on what social justice was and impacted my heart at a time when all of that was just, something I just couldn't even fathom. So I appreciate what she introduced it to me in terms of social justice, in terms of my own cultural identity, in terms of how to love other people regardless, and also in terms of a world of literature that just inspired me as a child.
Okay, I have to say, Maria Angel, who is currently a transition coordinator at Fort Hays, and she was a special ed teacher when I became a teacher, because I was a second career teacher, and I switched from being a lawyer to a teacher, and she was actually 10 years younger than me, but she taught me everything I needed to know about special education, about how to relate to the kids, how to organize the schedule. I mean, she really taught me all the nitty-gritty as well as all the important foundational stuff. And so I'm grateful to Maria Angel. You're next.
You sure you want to give me an open mic again? When I'm asked this question to reflect on teachers, I always think about the coaches that I had. And it was my co-curricular activity in sports where I learned how to be a member of a team, how to lead a team, how to win with the team, and maybe perhaps most importantly, how to lose or fail with the team. And so those are the things that have impacted me as I go out in business and even in this job. So it's those leadership things I learned on the field of play.
The educator who had the biggest impact on my life would have been my high school math teacher, mainly because he challenged me. He never gave a direct answer to a question. He pretty much directed it back to you with another question, and by the time it was all done, you had figured out your own answer, which a lot of people didn't like, but I kind of appreciated, and I think it's led me to a lot of what I do. I majored in math in college, so that obviously didn't fall too far, but so it's just helped me in my job and how I approach things going forward. So.
First off, we would like to thank you all for sharing. We're very grateful for every single one of y'all. And we would like to have our final remarks down at the podium, some of us, about how we feel about P3 and how it impacts us.
My final remarks for this program and what we just did with you guys is I'm just really thankful for the opportunity that Columbus City Schools gave us this, and we can help kids our age, because I mean, so much stuff happens in the daily life of everybody, and I feel like this is something we need, letting people know that not only educators may care about you in your building, but your fellow students that you might not always talk to. You just pass in the hallways, and I'm just really thankful for that. Thank you.
Ever since I've been trained for P3 and to be a meditator here and to join a group in P3, it has been such a pleasure to work with students, because I feel like this program, at first I was, scared to try it, but I'm so grateful that I tried it because I think it's the most impactful thing that we've done in our school. And I think it's gonna be very helpful to our students, to all students, because I feel like we need it the most right now. We need to share our feelings. We need to connect with each other, because the more we connect with each other, conflicts are less likely to escalate. And right now, we just did that question. I feel like we could relate more with each other, because I feel like I knew a lot about you, and I feel like I could connect with you all somehow. So I feel like students would feel more connected with P3, and I had such a pleasure doing this program, so I'm thankful.
I wanted to say I'm grateful for this group and the opportunity, and I think this is like the start of something like really great, and I hope it expands to the rest of the community, because I think it could help in real world situations and de-escalate conflicts and reduce violence a lot in our communities.
My final remarks about this is I can only speak for myself, so I feel like this whole thing, P3 and AJ most importantly, helped me grow as a person, mature, because I have like 1 more year left of high school, and I'm just going to be on my own, and I feel like I have a team that will help me, and like all of us together, we're going to help this community become greater and grow too.
I just want to say how thankful I am to work with these great students and how accepting they are of me and everyone.
I just wanted to say that I'm very thankful that we got this opportunity to help rebuild our community. And I hope the other schools that were in the training with us are doing really well too. And I hope that we can expand to every school, help communities rebuild each other, and help everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to wrap this up, community circles are for students. It's to help students connect with each other and relate to each other. And we're grateful for this program, and we're grateful to be in this board meeting and to attend with all this amazing people. It was such an honor. And I think we should have more student voices in this kind of stuff. As a student ambassador representing Mifflin High School, I think it's really important to give a role to the students to play in their school. And this violence, it has been impacted us all in a lot of ways, and I think students can help in this situation. And I hope P3 will be growing and escalating less for conflicts. And thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mifflin P3. You are a perfect example of students leading the way, and you are wise beyond your years, and we are so extremely proud of the work you are doing here in your community, as well as the desire to help our entire community. We know you have the answer, and we know your hard work will help us succeed. Also, AJ just texted me and said that he is super proud of all of you. He's watching. All right, we are going to have another student presentation from Afrocentric early college students. They attended a trip to Ghana and wanted to share their experience.
Hello, President Adair, Interim Superintendent Dr. Chapman, and board members. My name is Dr. Sherry Williams, and I am the Director and High School Principal at Columbus Afrocentric. And we want to say thank you so much for allowing our students this fabulous, wonderful opportunity, a learning experience of a lifetime. So much so, students are already asking again, can they return? And other students and parents want to go. So we have a fabulous community And we do want to share this video with you because we have a quick snippet of all the wonderful things we've done. It doesn't encompass everything we've done, but it'll give you an idea. Before we do, I'm going to have Dr. Jones. He's going to share with you how our curriculum tied into this experience.
Good evening. Thank you again, board members and interim superintendent, Dr. Chapman. I am Sidney Jones, Jr. I'm the instructional coach for Columbus Afrocentric High School and Middle School. As you know, we have a very unique curriculum in which African and African Americans are centered, and we allow our students to see themselves and Africans and African Americans directly in the curriculum. This trip was very unique and impactful in allowing our students to experience all of what we try to teach directly. And in the video that you'll see the 4 different quadrants that we try to instill in our students represented. For example, in studying ancient African civilizations, our students had the opportunity to actually engage in a marketplace, traditional marketplace, where they had to barter for goods, a very traditional experience for them. They got really good at it. We also experienced visiting Elmina Slave Castle and the Last Bath, which ties into our study of Ma'afa, the great tragedy of the transatlantic slave trade. Our students also got to experience talking to the mayor of Accra for a couple of hours. And so we got a chance to see and interact with modern issues across the diaspora. So you'll see a lot of those learning experiences directly represented in the video. And they were off their cell phones and actually journaling and reflecting. And students will also talk about their experiences, a few of them, at the conclusion of the video. Thank you again.
Columbus Afrocentric Early College is one of the finest schools in the Columbus school system in the U.S. With the focus of inspiring students to draw on their heritage, Access Africana and its leader, Mr. Ani Mwalimu, have been connecting people of color in the U.S. back to their roots in Africa. This is the inaugural visit of students and leadership of the school in visiting an African country, Ghana for that matter.
Stand up, please, and say I am free.
Oh, that's it. And that was also the slogan, his official slogan, that he would always say, forward ever, backward never. Backward meaning we're not going back to colonization, we're not going back to Europeans owning us, we're not going back to enslavement, we're going to the place that's going to empower us the most, which was the only way that Ghana would remain independent is if all the other countries in Africa would be independent. Because if Ghana was independent, but everything around it was still under the colonial yoke of Europe, the colonial yoke of Europe would just work with the other countries to put it back into
The visit afforded the group the opportunity to visit Ghana, take in the sights and sounds of the country, eat the wonderful Ghanaian dishes, interact with the wonderful Ghanaian people, and also visit various memorable sites such as the Du Bois Center, where they learned a lot about Pan-Africanism.
You are always welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land.
One unique feature of this particular tour was for the guests to visit a Ghanaian home, for them to interact with the family in the home, and also, most importantly, learn how our Ghanaian dishes are prepared. As you can see, our students are putting their skills to the test. This was very, very exciting. They learned how to prepare fufu, banku, and the finest jollof you can ever find in the whole wide world, the Ghana jollof.
will always glorify the hunters.
They also visited Asen Manso in the central region, where the slaves would be taken to take their first and their last bath en route to the castles so they can make their final journeys to countries that they do not know about.
Call that river the Donkonsio, meaning the slaves' river.
They also visited the Elmina Castle. At this castle, the slaves were kept here and they were prepared and shipped over the Atlantic Ocean to the US and many other countries where they will be sold into slavery.
This town was full of gold. As a result, the Portuguese named this town El Mina, which simply means the mine, and the name was later corrupted into present-day El Mina. But the traditional name for the town before the coming of the Portuguese was a local name called Anomansa.
One interesting highlight of the visit was also the visit to the traditional palace of a traditional ruler in Ghana, Nana Kwabena Nketia, the Oman Hene of the Esikado traditional area.
In fact, today is my birthday, and I'm 72 years old. And so over 50 years ago, I changed my name and adopted the name Ako, the firstborn, Kambon. Thank you for asking the question.
Back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are.
The group also had the opportunity to visit and interact with the First Lady Mayor of Accra, Honorable Elizabeth Saki, who warmly welcomed the team to her office and interacted with them on future collaborations between the cities of Accra and Columbus. The group also had the opportunity to visit the Labone Senior High School, one of the premier high schools in Accra, and had the opportunity to interact with both the leadership and the students of the school. They also had the opportunity to discuss areas for mutual cooperation in the future. The team before departure had the opportunity to visit the Black Star Square. This is the venue and grounds that the country uses to mark most of its national events. It's also the grounds that the first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, declared independence of Ghana. We have no doubt that this has been a very memorable journey, and the images and the impressions will last a lifetime for everybody who was able to make it. For those of you out there, we wait to receive you to Ghana. Akwaba.
Come with me on this happy trip.
Hi, my name is Kali Curtis, and I am a senior at Afrocentric. First, I would like to start and say thank you Mama, sorry, it's a traditional thing over school. Mama Chapman, and also the board of directors for allowing us to basically go back and learn about our culture. It means quite a lot. So Ghana was a trip full of excitement. From learning and dancing traditions and culture to visiting Lebone High School. The markets, to start, I would like to say thank you for allowing us the ability to go out and explore our roots. The markets of Ghana were the most intriguing due to how much people seemed to be helping each other, which took time to get used to seeing. People having such a strong sense of community, being that negotiating is a huge part of navigating the market and its prices. Shopkeepers had led me to other people's shops in order for me to buy what I wanted, which caught me off guard, seeing the cooperation between each other rather than being selfish. The most impactful moment being there was talking with Oman Hene, which is a local king in Ghana. It took me traveling to another continent to truly understand how far imperial colonization has taken from African culture and how much has been hidden from us. Hearing from the king how little people in Ghana aren't taught about their own history when it comes to slavery and its current effects, it makes me want to learn more about African culture. And again, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and Interim Superintendent for allowing us to learn where we came from. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kahari Kennedy. I'm a senior at Columbus Afrocentric, and I had the wonderful opportunity to participate in the trip to Ghana. Definitely the most impactful thing coming out of the trip was the hospitality and the way we were treated with such respect and love. It really made you feel like you were part of a family when we were out there. I'd like to say this really wouldn't have been possible without the support of all of you, making our trip possible, and giving me a truly memorable experience I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. Thank you.
We have purchased a gift for each board member. It is a bracelet that you have it. It says Madasi, which means thank you. And so we're, again, thankful from the bottom of our hearts. And we'll be coming before you again soon for another trip. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, students, for sharing that wonderful trip. We're so excited that you were able to go and learn, and we do want to make that available for more of you. It's so exciting. We're so proud of you for coming back and sharing that with us. It's so incredibly important to know where you came from, where we came from, and how that works in a larger, grand scheme of life. And so you had a lifetime experience, and we're so excited we were able to give that to you. Thank you. We have one more student group. We have our middle school students from down the street from Mifflin Middle School here to do a student presentation about a project that they worked on, and they're going to come up and talk to us about it. They were doing a research project about where engagement is key and kids want to be. Welcome, Mifflin Middle School.
Good evening, President Adair and Interim Superintendent Dr. Chapman and the board. This is a hard act to follow, but we're going to give what we got. This is a group of students that Ms. Osborne and I, teachers at Mifflin Middle School, were working through another program, CORDA. And in doing so, it's funny, I heard the person who was concerned about summer school being more academic. Well, this program is very academic, but it also takes real world problems that children have to solve. And these kids did a great job. I'm very proud of them. We both are. And they actually worked through their lunch because of scheduling was not able to allow them time during the day. So they worked through their lunch every day to research and put this together. And they, since then, one of our students, Matthew, has even architecturally designed a brand new building to replace Mifflin Middle School. So without further ado, here's our group.
Hello, and thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. We are Mifflin Middle School, and my name is Malachi Lawson. Our topic for you today is Columbus City Schools, reimagining CCS Middle School, where engagement is key and where kids want to be.
Hi, I'm Noah Richards of the 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Demarion Lewis, and I'm in the 8th grade.
Hi, I'm Matthew Scott, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm short.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Andrea Trust, and I'm in 7th grade.
I relate.
And I am Malachi Lawson, and I am in the 8th grade, and this is our team.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
Students in the CCS District 5 are leaving CCS District 5. How can we engage and motivate them to stay here and come here?
Background to the problem. On the left side, August 26, 2021 to June 3, 2022, we have lost over 561 students due to the COVID pandemic. On the right side, August 26, 2022 to April 16, 2023, we have lost 40 students and counting. We cannot blame COVID because the COVID pandemic is not here anymore. Why are we continuing to lose students?
Solutions.
40% of children who were in the 21st Century Learning Program improved their reading and math scores. Extracurricular activities can take place during school or even after school, and where students can find their passion. That's why extracurricular programs are very, very useful at our schools.
Examples of extracurricular programs. We have book club, gardening club, and arts club.
Additional activities that we're hoping for a swimming pool, so we can give students swim lessons, have a swim team, and also a weight room for middle school weight training curricular for 8 weeks in each quarter, and the YMCA is the person who created it. And then we are hoping for a sound room, lighting and stage for the auditorium so we can have music and live entertainment at the school.
Student lounge room. The student lounge is a place where students can gather, study, host student events such as open stage, live entertainments, meet with counselors to have a closer connection to the school.
Uniforms or no uniforms, the big debate. It's a 50-50. 50% of research says uniforms are helpful for education and cause less distractions. 50% of research says it's not a major effect on education. This is why we need to discuss about the uniforms. If we do go uniform,
Then do them right. No more run-of-the-mill, boring.
I see the J's.
Then do them right. No more run-of-the-mill, boring, plain uniforms. Instead, we need a fashionable school identity, something we are proud to wear.
and we need more field trips. Children who take school trips have better grades, higher graduation rates from high school and college. People who are visual learners can gain exposure to different scenarios. This is why field trips are very important in Columbus City schools.
I cannot see that. Safety. Student safety, the definition of that is school and school activities being safe from violence, bullying, harassment, substance use. And a good way to stop that is a good teacher-student relationship. And they make a clear path for a student. And
You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it.
I don't really need to say that one.
It's okay.
It says something about, oh yeah, it says safety is important to the student's life and the academic life. Not really much. That is important, and you guys should already know that.
Right.
A safe and supportive school should reflect shared values and take into account the communities and cultures students bring with them to school. More counselors, those are separate a little bit, anyway. More counselors and psychiatrists and a health clinic on site would be very helpful. Anyway.
Thank you.
We reimagined Mifflin Middle School into Educational Opportunity Academy K-8, or for short, EOA, where students could show their skills through extracurricular activities and show what their interests are in, and also have a SEL, student lounge room, to where they could relax, take a break from class, cool down, and free their mind.
And in conclusion, adding extracurricular activities is important because it can encourage students to get good grades, and it can help students address, and then they can find their abilities and what they love to do.
Which one?
Creating a student ESL lounge space for physical and mental health benefits so students feel safe.
Sorry, okay. Increase safety measures so that children feels safer. There's something I want to add. Not too much and not too little, but definitely needs to be more. Like everything, there needs to be a in between. If it's too much, they feel like they're in prison. Anyway.
Yep. Great point.
Reimagining our school into a more positive and academically focused school.
We would need community support, government grants, private investors, and company adaptations to make this a reality.
Yep.
Since we were also had a conversation about building a new school, these are the blueprints that I have worked on for 14 days on the school blueprint model on this and 3D model of this project.
Ooh.
Wow.
As you can see, this school has 4 floors. First floor is mostly for students, auditorium, teacher offices, our lounge room, also our lunchroom and main office. Second floor contains 6th grade classrooms and also some extracurricular programs. Same with the second floor, but 7th grade, and also with the 4th floor, 8th grade. And on the top of the roof, we have a garden and also a sitting area for students to relax, gain sunlight, and also to learn a little more about nature. And we also have a ground garden area with a deck and for students to relax. And these are the blueprints. These are the 2D blueprints of the whole school. The big part is the rec center, which we would connect to have our swimming program and also our weight room, and many other programs will be held there. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
And to make it easy for traveling, if you could see between both buildings, you will see a thin pathway that will connect both buildings.
I love that.
Any questions?
You guys did amazing. Amazing. So I just want to recap what you all just saw. So this group of students with 2 amazing teachers took their lunch breaks to solve a real world problem. We in our district know that the transition from 5th grade to 6th grade, we lose a lot of students. So they took their lunch breaks, did research, they tried to figure out ways to keep students. They came up with excellent solutions to these problems. They took it one step further. They even, in 14 days, designed a building.
Yes. Wow. Love it.
Our students have the answers. Incredibly proud of you. And I had the privilege of going to this presentation, which they updated since I saw it. Just incredibly proud. The other thing I want to say is this group of students themselves represents a diverse population within the student body. We have students who are gifted, students who are in our special education, and we have students in general education, all working together as a team. And this is the future of our education, and I can't be more proud of you. I'm going to have some board members comment. Dr. Pierce.
Well, you all said, do we have questions? So I have a question, and I want each one of you to answer this question. What was the best part of working on this project?
The best part of working on this project was knowing that I'm gonna speak it to an existence, when we built this school, that the kids have like a better experience than what we had, because our building is an old high school and like stuff is breaking down. So we want to build the future for the future kids.
You better speak it into existence. Yes. Come on, sis, you can't be shy. They're going to make you come up sooner or later.
The best part for me was actually building. I actually do enjoy architecture, and I will end up pursuing that career when I grow up. But it was long and tough, and it took some time, but building the building the exact way I would picture that other students would like it, it was enjoying. I enjoyed it.
I love it.
You're hired. The best part for me for this was doing something new that I've never done, like presenting, finding information for slides, and doing work in general like this. This was the best part for me. Thank you.
So,
Pull the mic down, pull the mic down. There you go.
okay, it's cool. So, the clubs is for people so they can like go and do the things they like to do and learn. That's all I can say.
May I just ask something real quick? Why did you separate gifted and special ed?
You're all gifted in your own ways, and that I apologize for that. I apologize. I apologize for that. You called me on it. I accept that. You are all beautiful students, and we love each and every one of you. And together, you make the perfect team.
I know. I just.
Can I just say, it takes a lot of courage for you to ask that question. Thank you for asking that question, for holding our board accountable for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It honestly felt kind of wrong that she separated the two.
Yes.
So I just felt it must. Well, I had to do that.
You did, and that's nothing to apologize for. You are a courageous young man. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what was the best part for you?
Also, one of my favorite parts was looking into what was one of the most common school mascots. Did you know that the bulldog is one of the most common school mascots? Tiger, lion, stuff like that. And yeah, that's my favorite part.
Any more questions?
No, thank you. Oh, one more.
Let's talk about next steps, and we can do this offline, but let's make sure we talk about next steps. And I actually have one more question that's also an offline question. But connecting our public speaker who talked about frustration about the academics not being included in summer school and your comment about academics clearly being part of this, if we could figure out a way to connect those dots so we communicate better how the academics are embedded in these projects, so the community understands we're not forsaking one for the other, I think that would be a really wonderful to-do.
Good job, students.
Thank you so much, students. Thank you. That is always the amazing thing about coming back into the community. We get to, be with our students and families and just see the wonderful work that you are doing. We're so extremely proud of you. Okay, board, we're going to go ahead and move into item 4.3, which is a discussion on the appointment of the superintendent for the Columbus City School District. I'm going to turn it over to Vice President Vera, who has, along with Board Member Cole, been co-chairing our search process and serving as our spokesperson. I want to thank both of them publicly for the work that they have done on behalf of the board.
Thank you, President Adair. The search for the next superintendent has been truly a collaborative process. Throughout this process, we have heard from a cross-section of our community, all whom care about the education and well-being of our students. The board is truly appreciative. We value and respect the opinions you have shared and have used those insights as we have gone through the selection process. Thank you for all of your contributions to this search. There were 31 applications for the job of Superintendent of Columbus City Schools. After the applications were screened by our search consultant, Ray and Associates, 9 candidates were presented to the board. After reviewing those candidates, the board selected 6 semifinalists to participate in Zoom interviews. Following the initial round of interviews, the list was narrowed to 3 finalists: Dr. Chapman, Dr. McDonald, and Dr. Thomas. Over the past week, each of the finalists participated in a day in the district, which they interacted with a wide variety of community members and stakeholders. As part of the day in the district, the finalists also participated in a Meet the Candidates community forum, where they answered questions asked by members of the community. The board held final in-person interviews with each finalist yesterday. As part of the final interviews, the candidates presented their vision for the future of Columbus City Schools and responded to individual questions from board members. Each of the finalists is well qualified, and all 3 interviews were impressive. At this time, could each board member please identify their top candidate and provide comments?
So we're going to have a discussion, as Vice President Vera has asked, where members are going to discuss their top candidates. And then we will do a poll of the board and see where we are with our consensus. Who would like to begin? Board Member Brown.
I was just clearing my throat, but that's quite all right.
That's what happens. You go. That's what happens.
I guess that means I volunteered. I thought this was a very difficult and challenging choice. It was good because we had some really high-quality candidates, and I believe that most of our candidates would be able to do a good job running Columbus City Schools. I liked Dr. Chapman best. I think that many of her qualities, her experience with labor, the fact that she knows Columbus, her strength in the academic area and with board relations and in the community were outstanding. The fact that she's been a teacher, that she's had experience with diversity, and dealt well with the pandemic in our community. I think that she knows our system, and she has demonstrated to me during this past 4 or 5 months that she can lead. I particularly like that she is willing to take risks, that having been encouraged by me and the board to do more than act merely as a caretaker for the district this last 4 or 5 months, she took that challenge and she accomplished a fair number of really good things. I think her demeanor, her ability to speak publicly, her good work with people, her people skills are great. And for all of those reasons, that's where I'm thinking as my top candidate.
Rebecca Lee.
I'd like to start with gratitude, echoing a lot of what Board Member Brown said. I'm very grateful to the candidates. I'm grateful to their willingness to be a part of this process. It was a long process. It was rigorous. I'm grateful to my colleagues for being part of the process. It was a long process and it was rigorous. And, you know, we had a lot of phases to it and different contexts. We had videos, we had on-the-spot questions. We had presentations. We had a lot of opportunity to see the candidates in different lights and, informally, formally. And I feel good about that, and I feel good about us having thoroughly developed a sense of who the right candidate was. For me, my favorite was also Dr. Chapman. I'd like to, the highlights for me that made me think that Dr. Chapman will be our best superintendent going forward. Her focus on relationships. I think relationships are important to her, and I think they're important to her on every level. And I think that's something you sense and you feel and you watch, and we've had a chance to see that over the past few months in action, and that's critically important. I'm also impressed with Dr. Chapman's ability to master the details while also remaining strategic and focusing on the long-term goals and the short-term goals and understanding the nitty-gritty in the middle, or in the devil in the details as well. I think that's an important skill, and I think she's demonstrated that during the interview process as well as, on the ground over the past few months. Clearly, the children are her highest priority, and she always goes back to that. And that's incredibly important because that's our why, and it's easy to get mired in the details and the challenges of the day, and keeping the children front and center is what we need. I think I've detected a bit of fearlessness that I think is what we need in our next leader. So those are my thoughts and my reasoning.
Mayor Cole.
Thank you, Madam President. Interestingly, I vacillated between Dr. McDonald and Dr. Chapman. I think what I found very compelling and strong about Dr. McDonald was his outside perspective. I appreciated his wisdom, his poise. I appreciated his experience in the captain's chair. I liked his motto of leading by walking around. That idea that cultivating relationship is core and important. Of course, hearing all the strong things that were just clearly alluded about Dr. Chapman. The fact that she is familiar with this city, she's familiar with our stakeholders. But I think what I found most compelling and interesting was the community's support. The community and what they had to say about her. And I think that, for me specifically, that became that tilting factor that placed her in a space of, somebody that I believe that I can support, continue to support, in fact, work with, and be a change agent here in our great city, Columbus City Schools District.
Thank you. Ramona.
Sure. I too was very impressed with Dr. McDonald. He had a lot of experience in school district in Houston, and then moving to California. The way that he shared the data, the way that he seemed to be very level-headed. Some of the changes that he has made in his tenure. But super impressed with how Dr. Chapman has taken on the reins as an interim. That is one of the hardest things to do while you're interviewing is you're steering the ship, which everyone's watching. So there's questions about that. And maybe they don't get to see everything, but what I saw and what she shared is her experience with grants and alternative funding, which is essential to this district. As we just heard our children talking about what they envision and what they want to see. In order for us to get there, we need somebody who understands that we need to find a better funding source for schools. Her availability, her accessibility, providing an opportunity for people to listen, for her to listen to all in our district. Putting students first. She has said it and she has done it. Also was very impressed with her innovative ideas, especially about career and academic pathways that I truly believe will help us be a district of choice. She's engaging, but she's also focused on restorative practices and equity in our district. And she's able to communicate that with our stakeholders and our community, which I think is very important. So I'm in full support of Dr. Chapman.
Dr. Pierce.
So I too vacillated between Dr. McDonald and Dr. Chapman. Dr. McDonald comes with a wealth of experience. He has served as a superintendent, understands how to partner with the board, has past experience implementing innovative strategies to generate revenue for his district, has partnered with higher education partners for satellites within his high schools so high school students can take college credit courses. He has evidence showing that he has closed the academic gap in his district for various student populations. Dr. McDonald has extensive superintendent experience. Dr. Chapman has served as our Innovation and Transformation Chief at a time when our schools were going through a critical crisis of COVID-19. She had the great difficult work of establishing our area superintendents, standardizing a viable curriculum, and in the interim has stepped up to petition not just our team, inclusive of administrators, principals, staff, teachers, educators, custodians, and students, but also the community. Dr. Chapman wants this job. And in 5 years, Dr. Chapman is committed to partnering with our community in meaningful ways to ensure that our students achieve academic success. So while Dr. McDonald has all the academic accolades, the experience of being a very well-versed superintendent, Dr. Chapman has the passion and the fire for our student and communities. And so with that, I would also like to add, before I state who my final candidate is, that as our community has made it very clear that they were concerned about the price that this search has cost. Our NAAC president, President Watson, has been very committed to coming down every board meeting and asking the tough questions and holding us accountable. One thing is very clear to me, not just as a person and who I am as an educator and community advocate, is that this responsibility of selecting the next superintendent for our Columbus City Schools was very important to not just us as a board, but to our community. And so with all of that said, Dr. Angela Chapman is my choice for the future superintendent for our Columbus City Schools.
Vice President Vera.
Thank you, President Adair. You know, this was a very challenging process for me. I too really favored Dr. McDonald in this process. You know, based on a lot of things we've already heard this evening, his experience, 9 years as a superintendent, is remarkable. And I believe there were strategies that Dr. McDonald had that I do believe could benefit the city, School District of Columbus City Schools. And so, you know, spending more time with him, really getting to understand his passion and his thoughtfulness around some of these strategies really helped open my mind as to how I can show up in this space as a board member and how I can contribute in this work that we are all charged with. And then Dr. Angela Chapman, who I have been very impressed with since the very beginning of this year, and understanding that she truly has a passion for kids, specifically our kids. And what I really, really have learned to appreciate and respect about Dr. Chapman is her thoughtfulness around appreciating and giving gratitude for the great work that this district is presently doing. It's not all about deficit. It's about uplifting the work that many have sacrificed for many, many years for our students, for our staff, for this community, while understanding that there are obstacles. There are things that we simply have to address. And although she is new in this space of superintendent, she is not new to service. She is not new to students and education. And so I just want to thank my colleagues, and I really want to thank the community. We read every email. We had dialogue, answered a lot of questions, and you gave us a lot to think about. And please know that those are things that the conversation will not end tonight. The conversation will continue, and we are committed to building alongside of each one of our families, partners, students, staff, to give this district and our students what they rightfully deserve. And so with that being said, I have all the confidence in Dr. Angela Chapman to be able to move this district forward.
Thank you. All three of the final candidates were extremely impressive and brought different perspectives to the position. Dr. Thomas focused a lot on collective impact, which is something we know is critical. Dr. McDonald had experience in longevity, which we know, helps with moving things forward. And Dr. Chapman, well, she's just one of us, and she gets it. And for me, that's what always had me. Dr. Chapman understands where we need to go, and she understands the Columbus community, and she listens, and she values each and every one of you and our students and this community and where our district needs to go. She sees the big vision, and she sees the barriers, and she can build a team that can support her and the work of our students. She has a big task ahead of her. We have a big task ahead of us. Columbus, we have a huge task ahead of all of us. We must build this district to the district that we know it can be, and I believe Dr. Chapman can help us do that. Everything that my colleagues said about her, I can't say better. What got me was your final presentation, where you put it all together for me. Every single piece. The vision, the governance model, the financing, the community, the student outcomes. I have confidence in you. I think our community has confidence in you. And so I'm proud to support you as our next superintendent. My preference is Dr. Angela Chapman. Thank you, board, for your comments. Now I will ask our treasurer to officially poll us, where we will say the name of the candidate. After that poll is complete, that gives us the authority to then work on a contract with the new superintendent, where we will come back and vote on that contract, officially naming the winner of the poll, I guess, and we will move forward in the process. So I will ask our treasurer to go ahead and conduct the poll.
Board Member Beckerly.
Dr. Angela Chapman.
Board Member Brown.
Dr. Chapman.
Board Member Cole.
Dr. Chapman.
Board Member Dr. Pierce.
Dr. Angela Chapman.
Board Member Reyes.
Dr. Angela Chapman.
Vice President Vera.
Dr. Angela Chapman.
President Adair.
Dr. Angela Chapman. Thank you. I want to welcome Dr. Angela Chapman back to the stage.
This has truly been a community effort, and the board is grateful to everyone who took the time to share their perspectives. This search was necessary. Our students deserved it, our community deserved it, and it's something we stand behind to ensure that we have the absolute best leader for this district. The board fully supports Dr. Angela Chapman. The board is confident that our choice in Dr. Chapman will lead Columbus City Schools fearlessly into the future with higher hopes, bigger and more ambitious goals, and opportunities to make CCS stronger. We're also grateful to all the applicants who expressed their interest in this position. This is so critical to public education. We believe that Columbus City Schools is one of the most attractive school districts in our country. Maybe we're biased, but we believe it. And we are pleased with the quality of the candidates represented in the search. We are especially appreciative for the finalists who exhibited their dedication to education and belief in our students as the future leaders of our community throughout this rigorous process. We appreciate the community's input, interest, and constructive questions that helped us get through this process. I know I speak for the board and for all of Columbus City Schools when I say how excited we are to have our next superintendent selected. When the contract is in place, we will make sure that everyone has an opportunity to meet and get to know our superintendent. The collaborative process that was used during this search will continue as we work to continuously improve our district for the benefit of our students and this great community.
Thank you, everyone. And with that, Dr. Chapman, Madam Superintendent, I turn it over to you for your executive report.
Thank you, President Adair, members of the board, and our community. This is a very special evening tonight, and certainly it is a pleasure for us to be here in Region 5 at Mifflin High School. Tonight, you have heard so many presentations from, so many voices from Region 5. You have heard from our students. They have shared their projects. They have shared their solutions. And I believe that soon we'll be getting a formal proposal as a follow-up to the presentations that we've heard tonight. You've also heard a little bit about the restorative practices pilot that just want to make sure that we call out that this is a student-led restorative practices pilot, and we are certainly proud of the work that our students are leading. Typically, the restorative practices models and the circles are led by adults, but this evening, we had an opportunity to participate in that restorative practice circle led by some of our amazing and brilliant students here in Region 5. I'm going to call up Diane Agnes, the area superintendent, for Region 5. She is going to give some highlights from around the region. But before we do that, I would like to just acknowledge there was one more performance that happened, a special presentation that happened over the last 2 weeks since we last met that was not included in our highlight video. So last Friday, I had an opportunity, I believe it was last Thursday, to attend the Momentum performance. And this was an amazing performance. Over 500 students in CCS participated in this performance. And I believe there's a photo. Let's give 1 second for our presentation to catch up with us. Momentum dance classes have been really an engaging opportunity for our students in Columbus City Schools for over 20 years. So last week we had the opportunity to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this performance. The goal of each class is for children to practice life skills of determination, discipline, teamwork, and striving for excellence. This year, nearly 600 CCS fourth grade boys and girls at 12 elementary schools receive weekly Momentum classes in their school gym during the school day. Performances were May 10th and 12th at the Joanne Davidson Theater at the Rife Center. And we're just very proud of the teamwork and the confidence that our dancers displayed. And when they practice their performance at each school, and then they bring it all together for a huge group performance, and it really is a sight to see. And we're very proud of our dancers and our students and their continued efforts. So now we're going to transition to share a little bit more of the highlights from Region 5 since we're visiting here in Region 5. I'll start with an overview of Region 5. Region 5 is one of the 6 regions across our district. Region 5 serves over 9,000 students in 20 buildings, 2 online academies, and the district's only standalone 6th grade building. Region 5's 3 feeder patterns include all of the elementary and middle schools that matriculate into Beechcroft, Mifflin, and Northland High Schools, as well as Columbus Online Academy, K-8 and 9-12. Region 5 is one of the most diverse regions in Columbus City Schools, with 31% of students being English language learners who speak 56 different languages. The diversity of the region provides the opportunity to work with several community organizations and partners, and collaborate with several organizations that provide additional supports to our students and our schools. Tonight's presentation will be anchored in our board goals. We will start with the first board goal, strengthening reading proficiency, and Diane Agnes, the area superintendent for Region 5, will share a few highlights from her region that are aligned to the board goals and guardrails, and tell us more about the exciting work that's happening within the region. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here to share highlights from our region. It's hard to follow that poll that you just took this evening, but I will try to live up to that. So to support student literacy, the district made a substantial investment with the adoption of 3 key curriculum resources, which were rolled out during the 2020-21 school year. These were Haggerty, Foundations, and Into Reading by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, or HMH, as it is most often referred to. As students and staff began returning to buildings in February of 2021, we consistently heard from teachers that they wanted more opportunities for professional development regarding these resources. In response, as part of our ESSER plan, Region 5 highlighted a vendor coaching strategy for all elementary reading teachers in grades K through 5 during the 2021-22 school year. Vendor coaching consisted of embedded professional development during which HMH coaches were deployed to our schools and provided one-on-one support in using the Into Reading resources. This support included classroom visits, individualized feedback, modeling of resources, support in planning, and other supports as requested. In all, each reading teacher in grades K through 5 received 6 visits from an HMH coach. Survey data was collected from teachers during the year, which showed a marked increase in teachers' confidence and skill in using the Into Reading resources, with strong jumps in both teachers' frequency of use of the resources as well as the percentage of those resources used on a daily basis. This year, the model continued with 4 coaching visits, with data collected through classroom visits, which reflected use of Hagerty Foundations and HMH in 100% of our K-5 classrooms. For those teachers who requested or demonstrated a need, Foundations support was provided by the district. In addition to examining the use of resources during classroom visits, we observed regional instructional strategies. Based on data collected during these visits, responsive professional development sessions were planned and conducted by Region 5's 3 teachers on special assignment. Adding a math, reading, and school improvement TOSA to our team was part of our ESSER plan. Those TOSAs provided responsive professional development on topics including academic discourse, standards-based instruction, and scaffolding grade level content with HMH's Into Reading. In addition to ensuring students have access to grade level instruction through our curriculum resources, Region 5 has focused on the use of iReady's personalized pathway. Each student has a personalized pathway based upon their diagnostic score, made up of differentiated lessons that provide instruction in the areas where they need the most support. We are very proud of the growth demonstrated by our students in grades K through 5 who have passed well over 200,000 lessons. In addition, our students in grades K through 12 who are using iReady have maintained a passage rate of at least 70% on those lessons. I attribute this region-wide success to our regional strategy of having every school create a well-developed and intentional iReady plan, outlining how they will motivate students to complete at least 30 minutes of their personalized pathway in reading each week. To support this endeavor, 2 principals from our regional leadership team have been designated as iReady leads and regularly share iReady data and best practices at our region meetings. What is important about this consistent success is some impressive data that Dr. Brown's team has been able to pinpoint while mining CCS iReady results. Dr. Brown's team has found that students who consistently complete their personalized pathway with fidelity for at least 30 minutes each week with a 70% passage rate of those lessons will on average add 1.4 additional points to their most recent diagnostic score. So for example, if a 3rd grade student scores 500 on their beginning of the year reading diagnostic, by mid-year, that student would typically grow 8 points to 508. Students who engaged in iReady with fidelity as recommended will on average earn an additional 20 points and a score of 528 on their middle of the year diagnostic in reading. This additional growth ensured that this student met promotional requirements for 3rd grade. Our next slide illustrates how many books have been distributed to Region 5 students through the district's exciting at-home library initiative. To support and further encourage our students' reading habits, Region 5 has some amazing partners who support literacy by donating books and spending time reading with our students. Some of these include the Second and Seven Foundation, Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the National Pan-Hellenic Council Columbus Chapter, Columbus Public Health, the Columbus Police Department officers and cadets, and our very own Capital Improvements Department. Moving on to the second board goal that we'll discuss this evening is closing opportunity gaps, which you know focuses on our 4-year graduation rate. Region 5's largest investment to close opportunity gaps has been the use of ESSER funds to add a high school success coach at each of our high schools. Our high school success coaches support matriculation of 9th through 12th graders through data gathering and analysis, collaboration with the building leadership team regarding strategies related to credit attainment, monitoring individual student grades throughout the quarter, supporting teachers and students as needed, and meeting with the region leadership team. This year, our high schools have increased their credentialing programs, and according to the 2022 state report card, all Region 5 high schools showed an increase in their graduation rates, which is a testament to the hard work of our teachers, senior teams, and leaders. In addition, we are proud to have 109 Columbus Promise Ready seniors. During the pandemic, Region 5 leaders engaged in professional development with Robin Jackson. As part of this work, each school set a measurable vision. Here you can see our Region 5 vision, that through our focus on inclusion and effective challenging instruction, all schools will achieve above average ratings in growth measures on the Ohio report card. This slide illustrates our progress toward that goal based on the 21-22 Ohio report cards. 94% of our schools met or exceeded statewide student growth expectations, with 50% of our schools exceeding those expectations. Moving into our district guardrails. Guardrail 1 addresses the importance of multi-tiered systems of support. The following slides will address some key measures regarding this guardrail. Each spring, our schools work with our 2 regional PBIS coordinators to complete a tiered fidelity inventory, or a TFI. The TFI measures the extent to which a school has implemented their PBIS plan. The expectation is that a school earn a score of 70% or higher for Tier 1. 100% of the schools in Region 5 have met this expectation. Furthermore, schools have the opportunity to apply for PBIS recognition through the Ohio Department of Education and the state support teams. This award recognizes schools for their quality and fidelity of their PBIS recognition implementation. For the 2021-22 school year, Region 5 had 9 schools receive a bronze award and 1 school a silver award. This year, 18 of our schools have applied for the Ohio PBIS recognition. Dr. Chapman and Dr. Brown have shared a theory of action regarding the importance of improving school climate in order to positively impact attendance, grades, and overall student success. Earlier, you heard about Mifflin High School's amazing student-led restorative practices and the impact that this has had on their school. Beechcroft High School is also a part of the restorative practices pilot. So far, Region 5 has had nearly 40 staff and 16 students trained during the first cycle of this pilot, with more being trained in the fall. While all of our elementary schools provide a variety of social-emotional learning experiences for our students, next year, in addition to these, each elementary school will also conduct community circles. Community circles will help promote a sense of belonging to school by promoting connections between students and school staff. Creating a sense of belonging is part of the process in ensuring that each student has a supportive relationship. This panorama measure is part of Guardrail 2, prioritize a whole child focus. Here, you can see Region 5's Winter Panorama Survey results for the portion of the survey focusing on students' feelings about supportive relationships. 87% of responses were favorable for our students in grades 3 through 5, with 79% of responses favorable for our students in grades 6 through 12. As discussed previously, all schools complete the tiered fidelity inventory for Tier 2 and Tier 1 for PBIS. The current interim measure for Guardrail 2 indicates that 43% of our schools should earn a score of at least 70% on Tier 2. Currently, we have surpassed this expectation with 13 of our 22 schools earning a 70% or higher, with 6 of those schools scoring 80% or higher. In our efforts to support the whole child, Region 5 has 3 social emotional learning practitioners who work with specific schools and 2 regional PBIS coordinators who support building PBIS teams, assist with data analysis, and provide regional data and best practices for leaders at our region meetings. Finally, we will look at Guardrail 4, ensuring a culturally responsive staff. Panorama asks students several questions pertaining to this guardrail. In grades 3 through 5, responses were 59% favorable, which was a 4% increase over our fall results. And in grades 6 through 12, responses were 57% favorable, which was a 3% increase. We have supported our leaders as they work with their staffs through 2 recent book studies on unconscious bias and culturally responsive school leadership. Similar to strategically planning for iReady, each school in Region 5 developed intentional plans outlining specific building level strategies, communication methods, and incentives to reduce chronic absenteeism. A key lever for Region 5 has been a shift from monitoring attendance to ensuring school personnel have a deep understanding of chronic absenteeism and are monitoring that specific data rather than merely addressing truancy. As a result, as of the first week of May, Region 5 has been able to reduce our chronic absenteeism rate by 7.6%, while increasing the number of students attending school at least 90% of the time by 7.7%. We know that we cannot do this work alone, and we are very grateful to our many partners who give both their time and resources to our schools. Several of our buildings have found ways to give back to the Region 5 community. A few examples include we have a few building staffs who provide dinner at the Van Buren Family Center each month. Our Northland High School staff participates in the Special Olympics Polar Plunge. Mifflin High School has a Souls for Souls partnership with DSW. Multiple schools complete service projects with See Kids Dream. And several buildings provide perishable food donations to non-perishable food donations to food pantries within our region. And with that, I will turn it back over to Dr. Chapman.
Thank you, Diane. And in closing, we have several upcoming events in Region 5 that will be happening as we round out the school year this year. For example, Avalon Elementary School has their Multicultural Day tomorrow. On May 23rd, a Rocks Empowerment Celebration will be taking place at Northland High School. And on May 26th, the OSU Mobile Design Lab will be at Devonshire Elementary School. And lastly, to kick off the summer, Medina Middle School will hold a STEM seminar for students in June 5th through the 9th. And the last few slides just highlight some of the amazing partnerships and extended learning opportunities for our students in Region 5. We're certainly grateful to be hosted here tonight at Mifflin High School, and thank you to Principal Rodriguez and her entire team for welcoming us to Mifflin High School. And certainly, again, thanks again to all of our students who presented this evening. It was so good to hear students' voices in the room. They have some great ideas. Then we will certainly be committed to working with them to hear more from our students, as well as engage with them to help us really think deeply and critically about the work of our district moving forward. So thank you to the entire Region 5 community. It has certainly been a pleasure to be here with you all this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Chapman. Board, are there any questions for Dr. Chapman? Board Member Beckerly.
I don't have any questions other than a thank you. I love hearing the data broken down by region. I think that's really helpful. If you could just send us those slides at some point, that would be great. Really terrific. And of course, the students were wonderful.
Madam President.
Mr. Cole.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate this report, and more importantly, the fact that we're hearing from our regional superintendents. I appreciate you incorporating them into this process of talking to us and giving us this kind of Hawks level view of their work, the teams that they're working with, and the outcomes for children. So I really look forward to seeing more of that. Thank you.
Vice President Vera.
Yes, thank you also for this great report. And I also want to thank Ms. Agnes. I mean, every school that I've visited, when I'm in your region, I always see you. And I think that's really, really important. You know, as a parent of a kid in this district, in this region, my kid also knows who you are, and it's not because of me. And so I think there's power in, you know, in leadership, being in our buildings and really advocating for the things that our district needs. And I feel that that is something that you do often, and I just want to thank you for your service.
Dr. Pierce.
So I will begin by thanking, again, the great team and staff here at Mifflin. Thank you for the flowers, the light. I mean, this is awesome. Thank you for being a light in our punchers' lives. The swag, the water bottles, you all definitely rolled out the red carpet for us, and we truly appreciate it from the bottoms of our hearts, as well as the student presentations. So, of course, I have a question about the presentation. And this might be directed to our area superintendent versus our new superintendent, Dr. Chapman. So whoever wants to answer it, please answer. In the report, I heard that our students are now, we are seeing a correlation between 30 minutes of being on iReady versus the initial, it was around 25 minutes. So are we increasing that time now that we want our students to be on iReady? One, that's the first question. The second question is, are we providing opportunities for differentiation in terms of the assignments? Is iReady adjusting now appropriately for where our students are on their learning journey?
So 30 minutes is the recommended based on iReady's research. That's like the sweet spot of time for students to be on, and that's the number that Dr. Brown's team used in when they were looking at our students and the time that they spent when he found this number of 1.4 points. And the personalized pathway definitely differentiates those lessons, and they change as students increase their knowledge. Those lessons get more difficult for them as they complete more lessons and increase that skill base that they have.
So in past interactions with students, with teachers in our community, I've heard the lower amount of time being spent. In the near future, do we project that our students will have to spend less time on iReady and that they will be able to get more direct instruction? Or are we going to continue to see kind of an uptick in the use of iReady?
A couple of things. One, for the students who are already on grade level or above, the 30 minutes a week is not as critical. This is really critical for our students who are not on grade level. When we looked at the data, we found that students who are not on grade level, this is a key strategy for accelerating their progress because they have access to an individualized pathway. This is not in lieu of classroom instruction or core instruction. This is in addition to. So some of the recommendations are to we certainly encourage our students and families to complete some of their iReady at home in the evening, on the weekends, but there's also time during the school day when they have small group instruction and they would really be working on independent learning, and this tool or resource serves as an independent learning tool because it's an individualized pathway. So if you think about an elementary classroom, whether it's the literacy block or math block, there are times when the teacher is providing direct instruction to the whole group, and there are also times in the classroom where students are working on their independent learning in small group instruction. So the teacher is working with the small group of students at the table, and students are working on individualized assignments and could be iReady or other learning resources during that time. So I think this is really, really critical for our students who are not on grade level, or whether it's reading or math. It provides them with the additional support necessary to gain the foundational skills and the missing skills that they need so that they can make the necessary progress.
Point of clarification, when you say not critical, can you explain what that means in terms of having to do the assignment? Like, I'm hearing students say, I have to do it for 30 minutes. I have to do this particular assignment that I did. They might be in the 7th grade and they're doing something that they did in the 4th grade. So does that mean they don't have to do it if they are on grade level?
No, so I'm not saying that they don't have to do it. All of our students benefit from having access to a resource that provides them with the individual pathway. Remember, in CCS, we are not just trying to get our students to grade level. We are trying to get them to be above grade level. And so with the individual pathway, it meets the students where they are. I call it their literacy address or their math address. The individual pathway meets them exactly where they are on that continuum in literacy as well as in math, and then takes them further. It grows them. The more practice that they have with the tool, the more skills that they are acquiring and attaining. And there's lots of multiple opportunities for them to use the resource either during the day, after school, on the weekend, or even in our extended learning opportunities like after school programming.
Last question, are we incorporating iReady into our summer experience program?
Absolutely, absolutely. We continue to incorporate iReady in our summer experience and encourage all of our partners that are partnering with us to use the iReady software. The students know how to log in independently on their own, no matter where they are, if they're at grandma's house or if they're at the YMCA, at the Boys and Girls Club, or even in our summer program. So it's continuing to really use the resource to the maximum capacity so that we can really provide students the access that they need.
I think with this particular resource, what we're seeing is that some community members feel a certain way about it and the use of it in the school, on the weekends, after school. We have to find the value proposition to reiterate to our students and to our families so they know that this is a good resource for them to use. And the point of differentiation, so students who aren't challenged by it in some way can be challenged by it or can do something else. So I look forward to hearing how we're going to do that in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chapman. Thank you, Superintendent. Your Superintendent Agnes. Okay, we're going to move over to our Treasurer's office. Hello, Mr. Treasurer.
Good evening. I have no report this evening. We met as a finance committee last week, and we don't have anything to report out from that, I don't believe. But other than that, nothing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this evening's consent agenda consists of items 9.1 to 24.14. Are there any items a board member would like to pull out for separate consideration? Seeing none.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Are there any items a board member would like to discuss?
Only an abstention.
We'll get it when we call the roll.
Okay.
All right, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes, abstaining from 18.1.
Dr. Pierce?
With the exception of 12.22 and 2410, of which I'm abstaining, yes.
Ms. Reyes has stepped away. Vice President Vera?
Yes.
And President Adair?
Yes.
And Ms. Beckerly?
Yes.
That motion carried.
Thank you. We do not have any comments on non-agenda items, so we will go into executive session. Vice President Vera, you have the motion.
I move that the Board of Education recess into executive session per section 121.22 G4 to prepare for, conduct, or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment, and per section 121.22 G1 Ohio Revised Code to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of public employees.
It's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes? I did that again, I'm sorry. Vice President Vera?
Yes.
President Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beckerly?
Yes.
Mr. Brown? That motion carried.
Thank you. We will now adjourn into executive session. We will conclude the public meeting after executive session, but that will not be televised. So we wish everybody a good evening, and let's once again welcome to CCS our new superintendent, officially Dr. Angela Chapman.